Star Wars! I love Star Wars! Star Wars!
This is the most excited I've been for a movie since The Force Awakens, if that puts things in perspective.
So I just saw Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and when I say that I just saw it, I mean that I saw it last Thursday for the premiere, and I haven't had time to be able to make a video about it. I just graduated college that same weekend, and then I took a short vacation, and I've been here and there and everywhere. I haven't had time to do anything. But thankfully, I'm a very caring person to the 30 people who watch my videos, and so here's your reaction to The Last Jedi. I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a warning that this video is gonna have spoilers. I'm not even gonna hold anything back. So if you haven't seen the movie, then you might not want to watch this, or if you just don't care, then who cares, just watch it anyway. Just in case you didn't know, my name is Paul and I like Star Wars. I'm a pretty big fan of Star Wars. I've seen all the movies. I was pretty excited about seeing this movie. I didn't really know what to expect because for those of you who have seen The Force Awakens, you know that there's Rey and they make it really obvious that she's a Skywalker, and then, you know, she beats Kylo Ren, and it's basically the same thing as A New Hope, except different characters, but I still like it because it's Star Wars! So when I found out that Rian Johnson was going to make this movie, I was pretty stoked. I like J.J. Abrams. I'm a pretty big fan of the Star Trek movies that he did, and so he did The Force Awakens and I liked it, and I also like Rian Johnson. I thought Looper was a good movie, so I was like, hey, he's gonna do something kind of different with Star Wars. I had no idea. Watching The Last Jedi is like seeing a dead rabbit in the road, and then you walk up to it and realize it's actually a dead squirrel. In the end, it's a dead animal, and that really doesn't make that much of a difference, but it's kind of confusing because you thought it was going to be something different, and it surprises you a little bit, even though it's not really life-changing. So the movie opens with like this joke where Poe Dameron he's on the phone with General Hux, and the whole movie, there were a bunch of jokes in it. Like, there wasn't, like The Force Awakens, they said a lot of funny stuff, but it sort of fit in with the story. But with this, it was like, it felt kind of weird. Like, a lot of it was funny, it made me chuckle, but at the same time, this humor, it sort of felt awkward in a way. So when Rey first meets Luke Skywalker and hands him his lightsaber, he basically just throws it over his shoulder. There were things like that, and I kind of liked it because it wasn't what you expected. You didn't expect to watch this movie and to have like Luke Skywalker just all of a sudden throw his lightsaber behind his shoulder. It catches you off guard, and that makes it pretty cool. But it's like J.J. Abrams set up so much stuff with The Force Awakens. It's like you have Supreme Leader Snoke, and he's like this giant villain, kind of like the Emperor. You have Rey, who's so obviously a Skywalker, whether she's Leia's daughter or Luke's daughter, you don't know, but it's so obvious that's the case. And then you watch The Last Jedi and like you find out like Rey is a nobody. I kind of like that aspect of the story because it's like the movie was trying to show that anybody can be a Jedi and stuff like that, but at the same time, I mean, what? It's like they spent with The Force Awakens setting up all this stuff, and then with The Last Jedi, it was just thrown away. Like, Supreme Leader Snoke gets cut in half, and like I said, it's like, I liked it, because it caught me off guard, but at the same time, it was like, I thought that he was going to be a much bigger villain in the series and stuff. I really like how they animated Snoke with the motion capture stuff. I thought Andy Serkis did a really good job, and I would have liked to have seen more of Snoke in the movie, even if he did still get killed. There are a few other things about the movie that was just, it was strange to me. Like, Leia gets blown off a ship and into outer space, and she somehow uses the Force to bring herself back on the ship. And, oh my gosh! Ah! It was like, well, that's pretty cool, and I liked it, but at the same time, it was like, this wasn't what I expected. This whole movie, it was like, oh my gosh, it was like, it was good, but it wasn't what I expected. And it's like, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like I'm going through a midlife crisis. So at the end of the movie, Luke Skywalker dies for literally no reason whatsoever. Like, Luke says to Kylo Ren when they face off, like it's Luke's projection and he fights Kylo Ren, and then at the very end when Kylo Ren figures out it's a projection and not actually Luke Skywalker, Luke is like, see you around, kid, and then he dies on his little island. He just disappears into oblivion. Wow, in some ways I feel I felt it was a good scene and very touching and stuff and meaningful. It was like, you have Mark Hamill, why not use him for the next movie? They keep killing off all these people. First it was Han, and now Luke, and poor Carrie Fisher. No! One thing that really disappointed me a lot about this movie is there's never an actual, like, lightsaber battle. I mean, they're, like, Rey and Kylo Ren fight all of those guards or whatever, but there was no Knights of Ren. There was no actual lightsaber battle, even when Kylo Ren fights Luke's projection. Like, they could have put it in there to where they, like, fight and stuff, but it was so easy for them. It could have been Rey fighting Kylo Ren after they killed all those guards. It could have been Luke and Kylo Ren. They could have done Snoke and Kylo Ren. They could have done something, but they didn't do it, and that disappointed me. It's like, I can't decide how I feel about this movie. Like, it's good because it wasn't what I expected, but it's weird because it wasn't what I expected. So at the very end of The Last Jedi, we see this kid use the Force to pick up a broom and wave it around. And I'm no genius, but I put two and two together, and with Rey not having, like, with Rey's parents being nobody, and then this random kid on this random planet holding up a broom and waving it around with the Force and whatever, I kind of get a vibe that a major theme of this movie was that anybody can be a Jedi. So what this teaches me is that if I throw my umbrella across the room, I can use the Force to pick it back up. So I'm gonna try that right now, and we'll just see how it goes. It didn't work. The Last Jedi is a lie. It's like, at the end of this movie, nothing is accomplished. Like, other than a bunch of the rebels and the Resistance are dead, and Supreme Leader Snoke is dead, and Luke is dead, and that's pretty much it. There was no the Resistance blowing up their, like, giant globe Death Star looking, Star Killer looking base. Like, they blew up stuff, but I mean, it was like nothing. It's like we find out Rey is a nobody. The only thing this movie accomplishes is Kylo Ren is the new Supreme Leader. This whole movie was just kind of weird. And I mean, I guess I can sort of get with the new direction they're going with Star Wars, but at the same time, it really confuses me. One thing that I find really interesting about this is that Rian Johnson wrote and directed this movie himself, and you know, maybe he had some help with ghostwriters or something like that, but for the sake of what it said in the credits, we're just gonna assume that he did it all himself. Disney basically gave Rian Johnson, like, full control over this and said, do whatever you want, we don't even care. And, like, I appreciate the direction he took with the movie, but at the same time, it feels like I'm not watching Star Wars. I feel like Star Wars has turned into something different, and I mean, it's like Rian Johnson is the most powerful person in the movie industry. Not only did he write and direct The Last Jedi, and it's gonna make $1 billion, probably $2 billion, but Disney also gave him full control over writing and directing the next trilogy of Star Wars after Episode 9. It's like, how powerful do you have to be in the film industry to get to write and direct 4 episodes of Star Wars? It's like, what did Rian Johnson do? How did he get all of this power? People don't really seem to think that this is kind of interesting, but it's like Rian Johnson is controlling Star Wars. Rian Johnson is Star Wars. So I think that covers about everything I have to say about The Last Jedi and stuff. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, I guess, and comment and, you know, stuff like that. because I only have 30 people who watch my videos, and if you watch my videos too, then I have 31 people who watch my videos. Have a nice life.